big, huge red flag. Somebody's mimicking love and over exaggerating it by a million times because that's not love.
How do you know you are dealing with a narcissist or an empath?
Can I trick you into believing that I'm like you? If they're doing good to be pumped up, then there is a problem.
It's like I can tell that some of these people just really just want to use you as long as they need to, and they kind of attach to like maybe do they typically attach to one person, and then all of a sudden like their true colors usually kind of come out.
Narcissists are so great at mimicking the empath. And the only way, and the only way, and the only way you could ever figure this out is when you.
How do you know you are dealing with a narcissist or an empath? Because as we have well learned, some of these narcissists are actually pretty dang good about fooling you and making you believe that they are, in fact, an empath, and they can do it for quite a while. So, how do you know what you're dealing with?
Well, it's really cool because how to know the difference. So remember, empaths are feelers and they're kind and they listen to people and they pay attention and they want to offer help and they want to do all that. Now, there are narcissists that mimic that. So how do they mimic it? They are helpful. They do spend time listening. They will do all this stuff, but not for you. But this is not for you when we're in the relationship. And we want to back it up to the very beginning. So at the beginning, let's say you're on a date or you're somewhere and you bump into somebody that you believe, oh my, they're so kind and sweet and they make people laugh and they're loving. So how can you tell the difference between a narcissist who's mimicking the empath to get the empath into their world? Okay, because empaths will like, we're looking for kind people, generous people, loving people, people who make us laugh and enjoy our lives, right? So the narcissists know this. So they have to put a persona on. Now, how can you tell the difference? It's very easy, actually. When you are in a place where you are not feeling insecure and you're confident, your intuition is going to scream for volumes. The interesting part is you're not going to feel what they're saying. So, what they're saying and what they're doing is going to be void of emotions. It's going to feel computerized. It's going to feel alien. It's going to feel robotic. Okay, so this is the number one. So if you have worked on your intuition and you are more attuned and you feel like you're like, you know what, my stomach crunches when something's off. My heart feels this. My mental mind starts to talk me out of it. These are all signs that you're against your intuition. So you're meeting this narcissist and they're mimicking kindness. Let's say they're giving a poor person money right in front of you. Okay. You are going to feel and you're going to sense that it is a show. It is an act. It is not the truth. Okay. They're going to then share stories about how giving they are to others. Okay. But not in a blatant way, unless it's an overt narcissist, which is very clear to notice. You're covert. The way, yeah, like I like to help the poor because they break my heart. I feel so sorry for them. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, like in my town, I would always give out so much money to these people. You'll notice there's a story to cover up the void of emotions. Okay, because you're not going to feel it coming from their heart. But there's a story. So they always use stories. Okay. They always show you more examples. So you've just seen them give money to someone. They have to back it up with a story, history, what I've done before, what I do for life, what I wish I could do. I wish I had more money so I could give more poor people. Right. So it's
Mm.
covering up. So now what happens is you go into your mental mind. Your mental mind is like, yeah, but oh, so he does this a lot or she helps a lot of people, so there must be something. Oh, then whatever I'm feeling is incorrect. Telltale sign, the story always follows, almost always. And even if the story follows 5 minutes later, there's a story. Pay attention for the story. Okay, the history. You don't even have to ask. The thing is, if you're asking, then the person can be like, yeah, I just like to give people money, I feel bad. But if you don't ask, that's what you wait for. So that's the first sign that they're mimicking in their generosity, right? The second sign is how friendly are they to waiters, people of service? Okay. So there are two kinds of narcissists or two kinds of mimicking. There's the mimicking of I'm in command, get me water. I didn't like my water. Make it cooler, make it this, just to show you that they're confident, right? So narcissists want to prove that they're confident. So in this act where there's no thank you and please, you're going to notice there's a lack of thank you and please. Okay. But there's a commandment. I command to be served. I'm paying you in the restaurant, or I'm here in the service. So there's a commanding energy about it. Now, the second way of doing it, that one's very easy to see because you're going to feel in your heart, you're like, oh, I wish the person said please. Why couldn't they say thank you? Why couldn't they smile? Like you're going to feel it in your body, right? Why couldn't they be nicer? The minute you feel, why couldn't they be nicer? Pay attention. They're mimicking an empath. They're mimicking a confident person, a confident empath, but they don't have the language of kindness that doesn't come automatically. The other kind of way in service, the other way of doing that is then you have the covert narcissist, right? Where over friendly, over joking, right? It borders on the line of where you're feeling a little uncomfortable, like, is he flirting with the waitress? Right? But then he's laughing and enjoying himself so much but you feel in your gut, you're like feeling a little insecure. This is your telltale sign because it's too much tension to someone. But then your mental mind, again, it's always your mental mind that talks you out of it. Your mental mind, but he's just being really friendly. Oh, look how many people like him. Oh, the waiter laughed. He's so friendly. There was something inside that said, this is a little too much. It's always a little too much. Okay. It's always over exaggerated. And again, a story will follow, right? A story will always follow. So, why do narcissists actually do this? Why do they start to mimic an empath? Okay. So think of narcissists, and I know this is really horrible, but anyway, this is what helped me and helps my clients. Just think of them as these robots. Okay. These robots that want to mimic kind, beautiful, loving, tender beings. And they just don't know how because they don't have that feeling. That feeling doesn't come to them. It's not part of their being, right? And they want to learn it. Okay. Because as they learn it, then they can have those beings in their life, right? I mean, who falls for somebody who's dead inside? Nobody, right? But who falls for the words that people say? Practically the whole world, where we've all been used to being gaslighted by words, right? Oh, I love you. You're so sweet. You're so kind. You're like, okay, great. Now I'm in a rut. Where are you? Nowhere, right? So this is what we fall for. So what the narcissist does, they mimic it. They mimic the empath, which is, oh, empaths. It's like somebody studying. Empath, oh, they give for the poor. They say thank you and please. They listen to problems and really pay attention. That's another thing. When you're talking about your life, okay, you're going to notice that they dodge the topic. A lot of times, especially if it's an overt narcissist, they'll say, when you're talking, you're so pretty. Oh, look at you. Oh, I just get so interested when you speak. I love hearing your voice. It's not even about the topic. It's nowhere close to the topic. Okay. They're complimenting you. Now, there are glitches. So just think of it as the Matrix. They have glitches where all of a sudden they're like, I'm supposed to compliment her. And they just say it at the wrong time. Okay. Like, I'm going to compliment her now because I haven't heard a single thing she said. I don't even know how to respond. So they're not interested in what you're really saying, right? They're just taking like your insecurities and showing they're playing a game in their head to know certain things, but the story in between, they're not paying attention. So you'll receive a compliment out of nowhere. Like, oh, I'm so happy we met while you're in the middle of saying I had a really toxic relationship before and you're really pouring your heart out. A strange statement shows up. Pay attention. Okay. Don't think, oh my God, he's so nice. Like, he loves me so much. He can't notice how beautiful I am. Beep. Something's off. Okay. So they mimic things and sometimes they come out in the weirdest of ways. So this is what they do. Why they do it is because they want you to see them as a loving person. They want you to believe that they will care for you and love you. They will listen to your stories. They just won't listen the right way. Okay. They won't feel with your story. A lot of them hijack and talk about their own story. Okay. So at the very beginning, so there are phases of this. the very, very beginning, the love bombing phase, you will get all their attention. You will get all the compliments. They will call you all the time. Okay. Because to them, this is love. Don't forget, they've also watched the same movies we've watched. And in those movies, because you're watching a movie where somebody meets and it takes them a year to get married and 2 to get kids, and it's like in the span of years, they're doing it in this in a short span as the movie. It's an hour long. Right. So in the movie, this person is seeing the girl every single day, calling her every minute of the day, blah, 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 and then they get married and get engaged. It's really fast and paying her a lot of attention. So that's what they do. They mimic the world around them because they don't know what it feels like to feel for somebody else. They don't have the ability to love somebody else. They don't know what it means like to compromise, right? To say that they're wrong and I hurt your feelings. They don't know any of this. This is a learning ability. Okay. It's a learning ability. So think of it as robotic. Okay. Because if they didn't do any of this stuff, you would never over your dead body be with a narcissist. It would be impossible for an empath sensitive to be with a narcissist who isn't mimicking an empath. I've heard it so many times. My clients, I swear to you, my clients would come and just mention a person's name that they've met. And energetically, I don't need to see pictures. I used to have to see pictures to see. Just their name would vibrate. And I would be like, there's something off. Pay attention to this. When you go out to dinner, when you do this, are they doing this? Can you feel yourself? Did you lose yourself? What are they saying about themselves? Is it true? Is it not true? Pay close attention because the first thing they'll tell me is the kindest person, the most generous person. They're amazing and so sweet. And they listen to me no matter when I talk all day long, every minute. Right. And they lavish me with gifts and lavish me with phones and they don't know how to stay without me. Big, huge red flag. Somebody's mimicking love and over exaggerating it by a million times because that's not love. So this is the how and the why. The why is to get you in. I can't imagine any of you or me, Mel, anyone loving to be around somebody who's just a piece of shit and has nothing to offer, right? Like Mel, when you interacted with any narcissist at the very beginning, did you believe they were an empath?
Yes, I did. And it was over time. I realized, oh wow, they really can, they can wait it out, man. And yeah, ooh.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is so true. It was like, oh my gosh, it didn't feel like I didn't feel like usually I'm such a passionate person. I just feel energy so much. It was like you said, so many stories, so many the things they do, like all these things. And then I realized, like, in a particular example of someone that I was a friend that I was with, like as soon as she found somebody else, it was like just cut me off. It was like, I don't need you anymore. So it's like I can tell that some of these people just really just want to use you as long as they need to. And they kind of attach to like maybe do they typically attach to one person? And then all of a sudden, like their true colors usually kind of come out. But it's like once they get you and they feel like they have you, I don't know. It's a mess.
It is a mess. Yes. They do attach to many people, but they have one power source. Right. So when they find another power source that's now, ready to even believe them more, it's all in the act of, can I trick you into believing that I'm like you? Okay. So they're actually mimicking you. They're actually mimicking people who are like you to get you. Why do they want to do that? Because you are delicious. Okay. You have everything they don't understand. So as much as we don't know how they really think and how can they not feel empathy or compassion for anyone, they don't understand how are these people spewing all this like light everywhere, like all day, all night. They're just spewing empathy and compassion, right? But it's delightful for them. It's delightful to have you in their presence, right? And when they do that, because that's when you let your guards down, and that's when it's easy for them to take your light. When you put your guards down, you're like, oh, they're kind. Look, She spends so much time taking care of me and listening to my problems. He calls me so often, he can't stop thinking of me, right? We're doing all this together all the time. She just adores my company, right? I'm her best friend in the world, right? Or if it's a boss, he can't run his company without me. Lies, 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 lies. Why? Because the narcissists are so great at mimicking the empath. And the only way, and the only way, and the only way you could ever figure this out is when you do not feel anything, empty words. There's no vibration, there's no attachment. So it's so important for an empath to really, if you can do nothing, if you don't even know how to get attuned to your intuition, you're so disconnected, all of that doesn't matter. That just takes time, takes whatever years. The one way to like tap into that intuition, you always have known there's one part of your body that always does a thing, right? So for me, it's my stomach. It feels like I'm constipated, right? And before, when it was my neck. My neck would feel kind of stiffer. My shoulders would feel up. It's as if my whole body knows what is happening.
Mm.
And so there's tension. All you need to figure out is what part of my body. Sometimes it's somebody's knee. It all of a sudden locks in. There's a part of your body, everyone has it, that is so alert and has been so painful when you're in the presence of a mimicking narc or a narcissist. We don't have to say mimicking because they all are. When you're in the presence of a narcissist at the beginning, that will shoot out pain to let you be aware. That's the one thing to pay attention to. And this will actually get you closer to figuring out who you are and how your body is always talking to you. So I don't know, what's yours, Mel? What's your telltale sign? What's the body telltale sign?
Yeah, I think it is like my shoulders and my neck. I store a lot in my neck too. It just gets tense and tight. So yeah.
So there you go. It's not, it doesn't have to be like miraculous. It's not like my eyelashes fall off and my hair falls. So then now I know. It's always a thing that's consistently in repetition to discover if you're being duped by a narcissist to believe they're an empath. You can also do little tricks of your own. I mean, you don't have to be like the empath that's from the angel realm only, that doesn't know how to use their mind. We have to empower empaths. We have to use our logic. We have to use our power, right? And not only like deflate our power. So one of the tricks you can actually do is, don't ask any questions when they do an act of kindness. Don't ask them anything. Don't look um don't look impressed. Don't look impressed. Okay? And see what happens. Don't look hold back that whole, oh my God, he's so kind. Hold it in, right? Hold it in and pretend it's so normal and it's not a big deal. And then notice if they do it again around you. Okay? Because they're collecting data. What makes you click and tick and get excited and happy and fall in love with them, and what doesn't. So it happens in front of you. Nothing. Don't ask you a question about it. Talk about yourself. Okay? And see if they ever do it again in front of you. That's a very big tail sign.
Wow. I think that's tricky because I'm the type of person that just really loves to build people up because I know so many people, and I think it's just because that's how I was too. I was so good at believing all the little like negative thoughts about me. I absorbed all of that, and the positive stuff I just repel. So I'm like, I so much want to build people up, and just so I give them so much like praise and love, and just because I want them to feel loved and remind them about their great qualities. And I realize when I've done that with some narcissists, they are like it poofs up their ego. And it was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just create a monster? They're like, oh my gosh, this person sees me, this person sees me. And like, it just like building them up. And then they think they're like the king or queen of this world. And then it gets out of control. And I'm like, oh geez. And it was just all ego. Interesting to
Yeah,
watch.
but that's a very cool point, Mel, because you know what? That is so true. A lot of us love to pump people up to feel really good about themselves. We do. But can we learn, due to interacting with a lot of narcissists, can we learn that because they mimic empaths, when we do that for them, we don't need to pump anyone up. If somebody does good, they do good just because they do good. If they're doing good to be pumped up, then there is a problem. So it's us too, because we were raised with narcissists, we had to pump up the narcissist. This is also a default, right? We had to pump up the narcissist in hopes that they maintain this goodness, this 1 second of a goodness they did. It was amazing. You were lovely. Oh, look at how, blah, 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 right? But it was 1 second. People who do good don't want anyone to pump them up and don't need it, and they're doing it for no one. So maybe this is something we empaths need to learn. We don't need to pump anyone up for anything, because if it isn't genuinely coming out of them, what's the point of pumping it up?
It's true. And it is just a waste of energy. And it's just proving. Again, it's probably just my dopamine fix of just trying to prove that, trying to feed off them and be like, oh, if I see them be happy, then I can be happy, because I'm not allowing myself to just feel my own genuine validation of like, just my being and existing is enough. And people want to be with me, not because I pump them up and do everything for them, just because they like my energy and my vibe. And I have to remind myself of that, of not constantly trying to prove my worth from businesses, through friendships, through all this stuff, through the, you know, anyway.
Exactly. And what's interesting is the reason we pump them up is because we want to hear that. We would like to be told those things. And so when somebody is not being told that, we feel, the poor things, maybe they're like me, they haven't heard it. So let me give them what I've always required. And so the good trick is, I love that this topic was opened. The good trick is with these mimicking narcissists, forget the mimicking, narcissist is when I feel I need to compliment or boost them up, immediately post it to you. Like if you're dying to say something to, oh my God, you're so amazing. Look how many people you've helped. Oh my God, I'm so amazing. Look how many people I've helped. Even if this moment isn't the moment that you gave money or you did help someone, you quickly shift it and give it back to self and then pretend you didn't hear it or you didn't see it. Because if it isn't normal for them to do it, they will not do it again in front of you, because it didn't affect you emotionally to trap you closer and deeper into their game. So they will never do it again. If they're authentic and genuine, they will always do it regardless of anyone's compliment or a boost.
Wow. So the lesson I'm learning from this, to keep myself safe and protected from narcissists, and how and why do narcissists mimic empaths, it's for me to just not even play that game, not to get into it, and to just come back to self, which is what it is with everything that we do. It's like, how do I come back to self? Has nothing to do with them. We constantly live in this projecting off each other. And it's like letting that go and just filling up my bucket full, my needs, my love, my self-worth. And that's just coming back home to me and reminding myself.
Exactly.
And then I'll never be duped by anyone, because I'm not, right? Yeah.
No.
Their true colors will just be where they're at. But it is.
Yes. So that's it. It's very simple. I don't feel behind their words anything. There's a shitload of stories coming out about how wonderful they are. Wonderful they are. These are the mimickers. This is how you figure it out. Okay? Because there are a lot of empaths who are really wounded out there, but you'll feel their wound. You'll feel their emotion. You'll feel their passion. There's something there. There's nothing in the other end. You might feel the rage and anger and lack of self-worth, the narcissist and their fears, but nothing else. So yeah, I hope that was helpful.
I love it. Thank you. Yes. So for all of you guys listening, please give this a thumbs up. If you love the information, subscribe, and then you'll be the first to hear new episodes that come out. In our description, we do have a link to our Buy Me a Coffee account. We've got lots of really great products, ebooks, e-guides to support you on your journey, as well as beautiful jewelry. I'm wearing some of them right now. And please comment. We'd love to hear, one, if you're a new subscriber, comment new subscriber, and what your key takeaway was from this episode. What did you learn from this one that maybe really resonated with you, that can help you and empower you? And then make sure to check out this next episode that relates to this. We're going to link it up right here. So just click on this one and you can dive more into empowering yourself and about narcissists. Okay, click right there. See you on the next episode.